What's up, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to New Jersey. We got Craig, Richie, Zion, and Michael. And today we're gonna have Richie take us through a sweet endurance workout. And Merkel's not used to that because he trains bodybuilding, right? And so we're gonna see how a bodybuilder holds up to an endurance workout. As you know, I'm getting ready to climb Mount Everest, Denali, the highest point on every continent. So it's a little different training, but let's see how it pans out. Zion's gonna jump in and try to figure it out with some endurance as well, and we're gonna have a good time. Let's go. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, now I rep the O, what you know by the west side. I just bought a whip, all in cash, live my best life. Bought a couple stocks, so I'm covered for the next 5. I don't like the top, but I will if you test my patience. I'm patiently waiting, think you know me, but you been mistaken. Loading my crib, all like you begging. Up in the morning, I'm eating the bacon. Don't let it cap and I don't let it fake it. I need a bag of this one for the taking. Liquor and women, I'm never chasing. She don't know me, but she know that I'm famous. Now I got way too much money coming out of woodwork. Remember back then, take it serious, I showed them that I could first. Now I got a crib off the strings, so that's good. I got way too much money coming out of woodwork. Remember back then, all I told them that it would work. They ain't take it serious, I showed them that I could first. Now I got a crib off the strings, so that's good. I got racks, I got the bills, I need my mama up in the hills. I need these dudes, they in the fields. I don't need drink, I don't need pills, I just need money, that's what I'm saying. All of this talking, swear it's training, all of this time, I've been refraining. Now I make hits when I cover the bases. Now I got time to go get it, I told them I do it, I swear that I'm running the most. I don't know what they've been talking, I told them I'm here and I'm working so hard what they don't. I'm in the base and I'm making a way, and I told them that this is the life that I chose. They trying to test me, I told them you really don't want it, I told them that I gotta go. Now I got way too much money coming out of woodwork. Remember back then, dog, I told them that it would work. They ain't take it serious, I showed them that I could first. Now I got a crib off the street, so that's good. I got way too much money coming out of woodwork. Remember back then, dog, I told them that it would work. They ain't take it serious, I showed them that I could first. Now I got a crib off the street, so that's good work. Tell them I'm staying right here. Tell them I'm switching my gear. Yeah. Tell them I'm just getting started. Tell them this year's my year. Hey. Tell them I'm staying right here. Tell them I'm switching my gear. Yeah. Tell them I'm just getting started. Tell them this year's my year. Hey. Hop in this flow since a boom. I'll take the man to the tomb. Yeah. Now they all ask what I'm doing. Well, you see it as soon. Say that they know what to do. Say I should listen to you. Yeah. Y'all don't know what I've been doing. Trust me, you don't got a clue. Take the
How you feeling, bro?
We're gonna play at 3.
Hey, let's try to get everything under 30. Everything under 30.
Sums it up.
Out of my front door, only fears coming through the bag. Got my problems, I want more. Lead the past up in the past. The way I'm moving, need a hard pass. All class with a book bag. In the night with that all play. Hang it up to no call back. Yeah, I got time and it's all on my mind, so I tell them.
Oh shoot. That's gonna go 10.
We'll go 20, we'll go 30, 30, 20, 20,
30, 30.
I'ma let it out, yeah, and I got guap, but you know I can't stop, so I tell him I'ma dead it now, yeah, I got green and I got a Swiss cheese, but I'm looking for the cheddar now, that shit was all bad, now I'm coming to get last, and this year's looking better now. Tell them I'm staying right here. Tell them I'm switching my gear. Yeah. Tell them I'm just getting started. Tell them this year's my year. Ay. Tell them I'm staying right here. Tell them I'm switching my gear. Yeah. Tell them I'm just getting started. Tell them this year's my year. Ay. Tell them that. 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 Yeah. Tell them that. 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 Ay. How long was I gone for? Pop more than some popcorn. Gotta drive, can't stop for. All the talk, there's no time for it. Blowing up like Lampore. Crowd wanting that encore. Tom Ford is what I wore. And I made a day what I bought it for. Now the speaker so fluent. I'm at the block like I'm Ewing. Yeah, they wanna keep me so still.
25 burpees, 20 burpees, 15, 10, 5 for the person holding the squat.
They tryna keep me from making it. I So they looking so curious. Feel like Messi with the goals. Will I make it? I don't know. Time is running out the back door. Pray to God to open doors. Couple bands for the shows. Hey, making money off the flows. Yeah, I just had to go show ya. Gotta keep them on their toes. Tell them I'm staying right here. Tell them I'm switching my gear. Yeah, tell them I'm just getting started. Tell them this year's my year. Hey.
Dev, get up, dude.
That's my side profile.
Tell them that, yeah. Tell them that, 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 tell them that. Hey, it's 2018. Yeah. Come on, tell them that.
A lot of muscle.
Man, everything in 2017, I don't want to hear about it no more. Yeah, cause big things are brewing. I mean, big things popping in the city, you know. Yeah, that's all you need to know. I'll tell them that.
With this, it's like it's a whole different mentality. Like you said, you know, that's brand new to me. So I like that.
You should be able to.
No, not when I'm training.
Both ways is close, right?
No, not even like from my cardio, because that's steady state. I rarely do hit because I'm always recovering from the weightlifting.
Well,
But I like
think
it.
about it like this. You want to think just like some people want to be able to think with both sides of the brain. Think with both sides of your brains when it comes to that.
I like that.
So when it comes to bodybuilding, yeah, focus more on just being steady and making sure you can get the weights up. But on the back end, make sure that if you feel like you're gonna fail, that you can give it that extra juice. Because maybe that last rep could be what sets you apart from being second place and the world champion. You know what I mean?
100%. And those are the reps that matter. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Stretch. What's the biggest difference between this and bodybuilding?
Yeah, I would say like that mentality where there's no, I mean, obviously the rest changes, but it's like that. It's like tapping into that other side where it's like, I'm gonna go and I gotta trust my body that's gonna be there versus like when I start failing on those burpees and my quads go numb and they're not really like firing like I think. Because when I'm jumping up, I'm not thinking about jumping. I'm thinking about, okay, how are my calves squeezing? How are my quads squeezing? How's my core? Like it all like, you know, breaks down as much as I can in the moment. So once those quads go, like, because I'm so conditioned to that, I'm like, I can't, like, that's why I'm stepping back, because I don't trust myself to I've been doing that for years, so I'm not used to that. It's almost like a scary.
It's just as hard mentally, but it's also the fact you're now doing it under a time pressure. Bodybuilding, it's slow controlled, where you control it. This is the whole mentality, because it's just as, it's, you know, arguably just as hard, but it's a different mentality because you're now doing it at this pace. You can't control it and control the rep range.
When you get to failure in bodybuilding, are you pushing past it? Are you trying to push past it, or are you stopping? Because I feel like with endurance, like you get to failure and you're like, all right, 5 more miles.
Yeah, you know, with bodybuilding, like Zion was saying, you might have that other rep or two. You know, depending on the lift, you want to spot so it's safe. But like you might have that extra rep where you're like, I'm gonna go, but like, you know, if you're doing a chest press and you hit real failure, there's nothing you can do unless you try to like leverage your body under the bar, and then you're not using your chest.
You're bringing your body down almost too much.
Yeah, so once the chest fails, I mean, it fails, that bar, there's nothing you're gonna be able to do to get it up unless you have a spot or, you know, you cheat it back up to the top.
Bodybuilding is obviously a lot more about muscle building.
Right.
Like you're just trying to break it down and then build it up right away.
Right. You're trying to build some strength, but then also really focus on muscle hypertrophy. You know, that's why you get those, 8 to 12, really focus on the squeeze. You're breaking everything down, and even like if you take a typical leg press, there's a dozen plus different ways to do that leg press where you're gonna feel it in different parts based on your foot position and even just how you flex. Like if you don't keep your core tight and stay in a good pocket, like I used to have a tendency, I would let my glutes take over. Yeah. So I'd have a powerful leg press, but who cares because my quads aren't getting as much of that tension, so my quads aren't growing in as much as they should be. So like even that, like just the nuance of like, okay, I need to keep my core in, put the pressure better through the center of my foot, change my foot angle just a little bit, and then it changes how that builds how it builds my legs, which is cool because it's so calculated like that. And in the same way, like, I'm sure this type of training is when you talk about endurance, I'm sure there's so many techniques you go into, like the form on running and stuff, and all that is out of my realm. But I like jumping into this because it's still, no matter what, it's tough. You gotta come with respect, because I thought it'd be tough. But I didn't think it'd be as tough as it is to switch my mentality. Yeah. Because I got there, I'm like, you feel like you're like, I can't. All you can say is I can't, because you're like, I'm not even thinking the right way about it. But it's cool. I like that.
The biggest thing for me in training is like, I have a certain grit level, a certain level of where I'm like, damn, I really don't know if I can go anymore. Yeah. And I think the Bear Crawl Marathon helped set that grit level. Yeah. Like to be like, all right, what are you really capable of? Now it's just about like increasing that grit level. So I personally love coming in the gym and getting to the point of complete exhaustion, but going another 15 minutes. Like complete, like where I'm like, my legs are shaking, I can't go anymore. I want to go 15 more minutes. And like that is now increasing my grit level even more. And then I just keep increasing that. Yeah, and what's cool about why I'm so addicted to it is because, one, I feel great, but two, it leaks into my business side of things, and it almost makes me feel unstoppable in business. If I'm like, okay, I can go for 3 hours bear crawling, doing this, doing that, like things that I truly feel like I'm about to like pass out. Right. Then like a stupid little business venture that maybe went wrong, like it doesn't make me as frustrated about. You know what I mean? Like I'm able to handle more mentally in business the more I can push my body in the gym or outside. I know. I relate them.
Yeah, like, I get that. I feel that with like bodybuilding a little bit in the sense of like we talk about like outside of the gym. It's kind of similar where it's to a point. Yes, the training's tough. You're in there 2-3 hours. You're doing it. But for me, the bodybuilding is like the full day, because it's like you got to get up, you got to have your meals ready, you got to have your supplements ready. You got to make sure you do your fasted cardio. It's
very disciplined.
So it's kind of like, can I go one more meal? Can I go one more day? Can I do this? Like I got almost 6 weeks ahead of me where there's no cheating, there's no days off. Dang. You know what I'm saying? It's twice a day, 7 days a week.
The hard part about myself and bodybuilding, if I was to do it, is the consistency. It would be super mentally difficult for myself to sit down and regiment it out like that, because I personally just love all different types of food so much. And I'm just like, wow, I have to tap into that right now. Like, that's really, really hard. And you obviously love food as well, right? But you're like tapping into a whole nother mental state of like discipline.
This morning with the bodybuilding regiment, like you have to get excited about the little stuff. So my coach gave me a tablespoon of peanut butter today because I have a serving of fat. And like you wake up and you look at that on your your regimen, your schedule for the day, like that's exciting stuff.
One scoop of peanut butter.
Yeah, because you're like, I'm thriving, baby. Like you appreciate the smaller stuff where like, if you have a little bit more carbs, you're like, man, I get an extra cup of rice. Because especially when you're cutting, your body's so used to that, like being in that deficit where like, last month, typically when you're cutting for your show, those last like 3-4 weeks, your training kind of sucks because you're not eating for performance. You're eating to lose fat and get as pure as possible. So you look great, you're pumped, but like in reality, your body's just dying on the inside, and in a sense, in terms of like caloric deficit and just being overtrained, not having enough time to recover. So yeah, the little stuff that you get excited about, you're like, bro, I got an extra cup of rice. I got some peanut butter.
Extra cup of rice? That just made my day.
If needed to make the ultimate sacrifice, they will for the inalienable rights